David Schipper is an area musician and board member of the Great River Folk Fest, which has been held annually for the last 45 years. David explores his involvement with the festival, his new foray into the Great River Folk Fest radio, the festival's songwriting contest, and what's next for the Great River Folk Fest. I'm Amy, and he's Brent, and this is La Crosse Local.
Okay, well, I was born in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, and Manitowoc had a great folk store, a record playing store that was run by Fritz Schuler. It's actually still there. Somewhere along the line, I started liking good music, folk music. The La Crosse Great River Folk Fest was on a poster in there, and Fritz would tell me about it. So I think the Folk Fest started back in 1976 or 77 was the first one. And Lori and I missed maybe the first two, but after that, we would actually travel over to Wisconsin, over to La Crosse from Manitowoc, just to go to the Great River Folk Fest. Probably did that maybe 6 to 8 years before I ended up getting a job up in Winona, Minnesota. So we've been here ever since. You know, somewhere in high school, I started playing guitar. You know, it's like, I think I was 40 before I started playing in front of people, and that was at church. 5 years later, I was playing in a cover band, Rose River, and we would do Freight House and places like that. But that kind of evolved, and Lucky Dog still exists. I just, you know, I find myself so preoccupied with so many other things, the festival work, and some of the other radio applications that we're going to talk about, hosting house concerts. I keep myself busy.
From how I know you, you know, it's been from Great River Folk Fest. So you kind of touched on it a little bit. You've been going for a long time. How did it get started? Was it just a group of individuals who started the festival?
Yeah, the festival was actually started by Fred Starner and his wife. His wife had a passion for handmade crafts, beautiful handmade crafts. And he was a professor at the UWL. He got Pete Seeger to the second Great River Folk Fest.
So, you know, due to COVID, everything's canceled for 2020. What can people anticipate for 2021 for the Great River Folk Festival?
Well, we've talked to all the artists, and we've told them that if they're available, we would like to book them again because they were a good lineup that we had. You know, it's a long time out there. We'll put the contracts out sometime at the end of the year for next year. It will be a festival just like what we normally do. You know, we were looking at what do we do this year for our festival, and we're kicking around that we still have a possibility to do something live our weekend. Right now, Pearl Street is thinking about doing drive-in concerts, and we're thinking about on our weekend, if they have it nice and organized, we'll figure out how to do a drive-in concert. Not exactly sure how it's going to evolve, but we really thought looking ahead by August, there might be a social distancing alternative. And we'll find some artists. We've networked enough that it might be artists that we've booked before, might be the same ones from 2020, but we'll keep it flexible. But we'll try to have fun if that drive-in alternative does exist.
So one thing that's kind of come out of Great River Folk Festival, and it started before all this virus stuff, but you have also the Great River Folk Fest radio.
That one came out of a conversation with Parker Forcell with Oak Hooch Mountain. He was telling me about how he was going to start up a radio station that was going to be internet-based. I said, well, I'd be tickled pink to get a Great River Folk Fest radio program on there because I've always had a passion to listen to Simply Folk and other alternative sections where you can just listen to the music that normally is at our festival. Over 45 years, we've had such an eclectic mix of artists. I said, no, don't worry, Parker. I can fill up an hour a week with just musicians that have played our festival. We started it actually back in August last year. Once a week, we were doing an hour show that was dedicated to musicians that have played our festival. We'd have a songwriter theme. We'd have a river theme. Find songs from our artists that would all go along the themes that we had. So that was our radio show. We've maintained it. We've taken it to a point where highlighting our songwriters that are in our contest, and I think you might want to ask me about that. I might as well just tell you about it. One of the things we did as we looked at canceling the festival, we said, what can we give back to the community and to the artists that might not be making money right now? So one of the things we have been doing for about the last 12 years is having a songwriting contest. They would have to pay an entry fee. We get like 30 people who entered it, and we picked 12 to come to the festival. And then they would do a songwriting contest where they play 2 songs in front of judges, and we would pick winners. Grand prize, I think, was $200, and you played on the festival stage, and you also got a day with Soundstrations, Brett Hughes's studio in town. And it's a wonderful thing. And, he's a Grammy-winning engineer, so they all got a charge out of that.
Can you tell us some of the bands who have entered and, for the songwriting contest, or individuals, and kind of like what made their entries, exceptional?
Yeah, we've had amazing entries. So what we're doing is picking a finalist each week. But the first finalist was a woman who was part of the Kerrville finalists. At Kerrville Folk Festival is a huge festival down in Texas. The next one was a finalist from Spain. He had grown up in Illinois. The next finalist was somebody who played the fest last year as Mary Weathers. The next finalist was Sophia Talvik, who lives in Germany and who tours America 3 times a year. And we probably have such an array of talent that have already submitted weekly that you could almost have a whole festival just on the people who have submitted songs.
I mean, it seems like an inundation of music, and it's nice to see you offering that outlet for them. So besides live music, what else is going on at the festival that might interest future attendees?
I would have to tell you to stay tuned. Committee that we have that has a lot of creativity. Could we do a small workshop on the bandshell? So we said, let's see how the Thursday night Moon Tunes evolves. We're meeting probably every 3 weeks as a steering committee. And so we're not going to forget about the fact that we could really give something back to the community.
You're in the same shoes as a lot of other people, but you're looking for an opportunity to actually still put on a potentially a live show in a safe environment that people could come check out with their friends and family, hopefully by the end of the summer.
Yeah. And could the expenses be covered by admission? Yes. Could the expenses be covered by a sponsor? Yes. We're not going to rent all the tent and do the large production that we do once a year for a 3-day event. But with good help, I would suspect that something might still come out of this summer yet.
Is there anything else that's coming out of Great River Folk Fest?
Well, I guess that there is one other thing that we're doing. If you need a great-looking mask, the Great River Folk Fest has one for you. We've printed up a couple hundred of them, and if you donate to the Songwriter Tip Jar, you get one free. So
where can people find out more about the festival and maybe pick up one of these face masks?
The best would be to go follow our Facebook page or to go to greatriverfolkfest.org.
La Crosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you would like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at La Crosse Locals. Subscribe to the La Crosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We thank you for it.